Hello, welcome to the Sashiko Live Streaming. This is Atsushi, and this is the live streaming where I talk about Sashiko while doing the Sashiko stitching just a little bit. And that's good. The audio is good. So the background is a little different. I kind of ripped the green screen, and I'm not going to replace it soon. So bear with me for the background for a few more weeks. Okay, so this live streaming is a place for anybody to join while stitching. I want it to be a place for somebody to be, regardless of the preference of Sashiko. And I will share my stitching throughout this camera while talking about, Sashiko, Japanese Sashiko. It is not a tutorial. It's not a webinar, so I'm not gonna answer the technical questions. But I'm happy to answer any cultural or, Japanese related topics. Okay. Announcement. It's same announcement. I started getting an inquiry for the workshop in 2026. At this point, I am most likely to come back to the Midland Island next summer as well. Not only this coming July, I think I can come back next summer, and I will be in the QuiltCon. I don't know if it's okay to say that. Oopsie. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. I shouldn't have said that probably. Anyway, so I don't have that many plans yet, so oopsie. I don't have that many plans, so as it goes, as I get more plans, I will share the information, and it's going to be on the website. For the workshop in 2025, everything is fully booked at this moment, and the wait list is kind of long. So if you would like to start learning Sashiko right away, please take my online class, Core and Essence. I should be able to open some spaces for the month of June. In the month of May, I'm kind of quite busy at this moment, so I will do one by one, and yeah, one step by one step. If you're waiting for some of my work, please bear with me a little bit, give me a little bit more time. And I also got a request to share the date for Sashiko Japan retreat in 2026. In 2025, this year, we will do the Sashiko Japan retreat in November, toward the end of November, middle to November to the end of November. I don't know when exactly I can offer the Japan retreat in 2026. In fact, I don't know if it's not a matter of date. I don't know if I can offer that at this moment because unfortunately some of these Sashiko in Japan are diminishing, and without there are many more other artisans that I would like to introduce. At the same time, there are kind of core artisans that I would like to introduce, and I have to make sure that we will be welcomed. And for that, I would need a little more time to go through that. So unknown is my answer for that. Okay, that being said, I will start stitching. Let me change the camera. Yup. Hello, thank you so much for coming. Yup. Let me just do the pint. Yep. I'm hoping to finish this one. Well, not probably today, but at some point. Well, I mean, I kind of opened the discussion in the Facebook group I don't know how many of you are on the Facebook, but I opened the kind of discussion on Facebook page that we stitch from the wrong side. So you're looking at the wrong side of the fabric. And that's our traditions. That is our tradition. There's nothing wrong with the stitching from the front side, but speaking of traditions, that's our tradition. And it shouldn't be, I don't want to say bleached, but it shouldn't be questioned because it's the tradition. Tradition is not something we can kind of question because it's kind of exists there. I don't know if what tradition it requires to make a tradition, but if there are people there with many years of practice, then I believe it can be the tradition. So today's topic is that if you're on the Facebook, you may be seeing some of my active comment there. And we Japanese have the word proverb, like saying that even Buddha can react when things happen 3 times. So I think that's kind of good translation. And this is the 3rd time happened. The first 2 times I complained. I kind of whined about it on the live streaming and as well as the Instagram. I whined about it, but I did not specify that. I did not really demand or ask for the reply. This time I will not give in until I get the answer. Because what she's teaching is very biased or wrong. So I don't know where she's getting those information, but the information is it requires some information. It's not like some new people disliking me and saying that what you do is wrong. That's not probably the case. So let's see what is going on behind it. But yeah, teaching will change things, even if it's just teaching to somebody else next to you or even online. That teaching could change a form of that practice, and it is okay to teach. There's no certification to teach, there's no credential, so anybody can be a teacher. At the same time, they have to understand that it comes with the responsibility. And if they cannot take their responsibility, they shouldn't be teaching. But in those cases, it's there is a very easy to avoid the responsibility. If you want to mention about Sashiko or teach about Sashiko, just mention that who you learned from. Then the teacher will be responsible for what you do. So, anybody here use my name and then teach what I speak up, then, the word, as long as they use my phrasing, that can be my responsibility in terms of preserving the culture. But in this world, we can say whatever we want without thinking about the consequences, and that's not the case now. I demand the response for that. Yeah, I'm quite upset. I'm pretty upset. And I should be upset. Some people may be surprised, like especially on the Facebook, some people might surprise that what's going on all of a sudden. It's not all of a sudden. I have been just trying to be decent, trying to be control myself, suppressed myself. The third time is not okay. It's, third time. But interestingly, that I thought that she was part of the big group of the Sashiko introduced in English. And there's author, and then she has probably a group which I I keep being rejected to be part of it. And it was my assumption, and because she replied to me directly, I will trust her for that. If she says that my assumption is wrong, I am making wrong assumption. So I thought that the saying was that group. Sorry, the saying was from that group. But seems like it's not. So I really like to know where it comes from. Like, it takes a lot of responsibility, or even like confidentiality, not confidentiality, confidentiality. It requires a lot of confidence to accuse or trash talk somebody who is Japanese and doing some sashiko right now, right there, and saying that he's not respected in Japan. That was her phrasing. It requires a lot of courage to say that, and I really thought that was she kind of slip her tongue outside of her place to be. Like she may have a place to be which I cannot reach to. And then they often talk about that, and then it can happen. Slipping the mouth can happen. So I thought that was the case, but if that's not the case, I'm quite curious that where it comes from. But at the same time, I don't know other non-Japanese people who could have access to that kind of information too. Um, just here, Atsushi is not respected in Japan in Sashiko, like in Sashiko. That phrase itself can be true in some places. I don't know if they don't like the Sashiko we practice. We have been practicing for 60 years, so it's not realistic to think that we don't have any enemies, especially from the old days. Before I got in charge of that, we did a pretty nasty thing. So it is possible that some people in Japan trash talk about us, but they never bring them up on the surface of the discussion. That's how we deal with it. But it seems like somebody translated, but at the same times, there are very, very few people who has that deep connection to Japanese Sashiko. So let's see. Let's see what she's gonna say. I won't stop until she gives me the reply. But I hope that you will. I can explain that. I cannot just let it be for that. Because it's changing. Her teaching, her recommendations, her comments to somebody with a lot of questions is changing the culture itself. In fact, it is okay to say that, he's not traditional, he's not doing traditional way, or he's not that's okay to say it, but it has to come with the responsibility that she is trying to erase the culture we are practicing right now, although she's not a part of the Japanese culture. So that's what's going on Facebook, and that's the title today. Teaching comes with very, very, very big responsibility. At the same time, I'm not saying that nobody should teach Sashiko. I'm just saying that teaching comes with responsibility, and as I always explain, that teaching has two categories. And one is like a guide, like a tour guide, So the tour guide often mention where that information is from. So then that won't be a problem. They don't have to carry. They don't carry the responsibility because they kind of put their teacher or references as their responsibility to carry that information. So in this case too, if that person is brainwashed, or if that person is using somebody's word, then she's not responsible for that. Somebody who taught her that is the responsible one who is changing the culture. So I just like to make sure that who I am talking to. I don't think it's her coming up out of blue. So that's my goal. The goal isn't to not to have a conflict. The goal is to make sure that why and how. Well, I mean, it's not a happy talk here, but that's something I have to probably do it. When I talk about this kind of things, many advise me out of very good intention. I really appreciate, but their advice is don't engage in that. Ignore them. Have fun. Sashiko is beautiful art, so you should only focus on the positive side. That was a true statement. If my goal is to just have fun, it's not. I'm having fun, but sometimes I do have to admit that I carry some sort of responsibility to pass down this culture. It doesn't have to be me, but at the same time, I'm one of the very few people who can speak English while doing the Sashiko stitching. So if the information in English is so twisted, then I should be one of those to speak up. And that's what's going on. It's not a happy thing, but everything has bright side and negative side. And when we approach to something, let's say Sashiko here, when they approach to Sashiko as the entertainment, it is very true that they can only look at the bright side. They should. That's the beauty of entertainment. But the culture is not only the entertainment, it can be more than that. And somebody, especially those who belong to that culture, should be thinking about what is their culture is all about. And that's the kind of responsibility of the people who live in that culture, not somebody else who is making that as entertainment. And when we talk about that kind of responsibility, then everything cannot be only fun and positive. In order to protect, in order to sustain the positivity and beauty, somebody has to go through the nasty part, and I am willing to go through the nasty part. So let's really see. It never happened in the history of Sashiko. As far as I remember, there were no such a things. So I think that I believe that will bond some of the Japanese Sashiko. Because I don't think the Japanese is behind that. At the same time, I don't think she's doing by herself. But yeah, it's quite nasty. So I really appreciate, or I really understand the stance of many people's advice that ignore it. You know, your time is not. Don't waste your time for that, and focus on positive things. There are always those people who drag those culture down. It is very true. It is very, very true. But ignoring the ignorance, I'm over that. That comment, that accident, that event might be just one small incident for many people, and they can just say that, it's an accident. So you can just ignore that and focus on the bright side. And that's, once again, that's a very decent, reasonable advice. But I consider that after 5 years of struggling in this changing Sashiko, it's not one case, it's not one accident, it's a tip of the iceberg that I'm seeing that, which I cannot really see that, but there are some iceberg who is trying to change Sashiko to the figure that can be very profitable, beneficial, convenient, and comfortable to them, not to the whole picture. And she is learning from them, or she is part of that group. I have no idea what she is like, but probably they're very careful about not to tell me that, because then it can be a pretty, it can be a discussion. And I don't engage in discussion when they do not speak Japanese, because that's meaningless. If they are so sure about the Japanese culture, to the extent to change the culture or teach somebody about it with dismissing somebody as Sashiko, they should be able to speak Japanese. So I will engage in any discussion with respect. I have never had a disrespect relationship with the Japanese artisans, I believe. No, it's impossible to have disrespectful behaviors for them. So that's my another assumption. It's not a probably Japanese behind it. If she's just by herself accusing me or like saying that phrase out of nowhere, then finally it becomes an accident. It is the accident. The conclusion is that she has so big of the imagination that she, connected a piece of information and decided to target me. Well, website, I don't know her. I have no idea who she is. She is probably doing it because she does not, I'm not standing in front of her. But I'm down. I'm just down with being quiet about it. Later, I will probably name her name if nothing is happening. So I will do one by one. The goal is to share what that information, because it's wrong. It can be true, but it's wrong in the big picture. It can be right in one area, but it is very wrong in the big picture. So, this was the second incident, but she wrote the comment that Atsushi is not respected in Japan, and like, what the fuck is going? I mean, what is going on? And then when I understood that what she meant, I asked her for the explanation. What does it mean? And of course, no reaction to that. And some of the Japanese people found that, and she translated it. And then she spread that information, and pretty many people got upset. And that could be one big conflict. And I kind of asked them to not react, because that's not what I wanted back then. I warned her that please don't do that. And I did not demand for the follow-up response. But this is, again, third time. So let's see. I am not. It's so idiotic, though. If they think a little bit, that's. So she said that traditionally, the traditional way of doing Sashiko is to stitch from the front side, the showing side. And sure, there might be the region or place or household that made it as the traditions of doing Sashiko. But that is only one part of Sashiko, and defining somebody else's Sashiko as wrong Sashiko is quite wrong as Sashiko, because that's not the characteristic of what we do. Yeah, so I will stop talking about it for now because it's not a fun story, but that's what I'm trying to do. It might looks like that it's a little bit of making a fuss, but I waited, I suppressed myself for a long time, and here we go. Okay. This pattern is a little bit, I should have made it a little bit smaller. I always regret the size of patterns after I stitch. It's really not my strength for that, but see, like a little bit smaller is probably, yeah, they do. Some people do a better job, but this to this, see, inside is kind of similar, so well, too late. But that's good. Too late is okay, because we don't change that. Okay. I wonder though, there are quite many people in the Sashiko group, and I do really respect that group. It is not my intention to cause any conflict or fuss or any big deal out of it, because that group is the biggest group on any social media in terms of the Sashiko, and it is very active. It's ongoing place, so for me, it's a very good place to observe the ongoing change. I am not saying I like the change, but it's the change, so I can observe that. And that's a part of the interpretation of Sashiko, and that's the reason I sometimes say that I'm just the whirlpool of very big trend. So it's a very, very great group, and that group has been up for about decades. It's there before Sashiko became this famous, like us. So I respected that, and I think everybody should respect that group. So it's not my intention to damage that group. It's just there is something going on, and what was I talking about? No, I don't want to go back to that conversation again. The Facebook group? Oh, yeah. So Facebook group. Sashiko has become something different. No, that's not what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Ooh. Yeah, so many people joined. So many people jumped in Sashiko last few years, and I think in this year it's getting faster more too. There are quite many people who say I'm new to Sashiko. Oh, there we go. Hello, welcome to Sashiko. I wish I had a little bigger capacity for what I can teach, but at the same time, I want to be responsible for what I teach, and that's the foundation that I carry. So if I teach more than what more than comfortable amount of time, so I don't teach more than 6 times a year. So if I teach more than 6 times or 7 and 6 times, I will lose my balance and I won't be able to kind of be responsible on that. So, but 6 times is not that many times. There are few who are teaching Sashiko it's not on my behalf, but based on my teaching, and I hope, they are very good people, so they are mentioning my name. But that's not, they also said that that's not exactly the same experience. Unfortunately, what they do is not gonna be the substitute of what I do. So let's see that how new people learn Sashiko from the information that is so limited and also so filtered. But that's what's available. That is what is available. So, when there is a kit to make a dish, when there is a delivery system that you can get a lot of materials, groceries, they don't go to the grocery store to buy the tomatoes and celeries and then start making the tomato sauce out of nothing. That requires a lot of patience. I don't know how many people are okay to spend that much patience. They might be just want to have the outcome, result, tomato sauce. Welcome to Nadia. Thank you so much for bringing a Sashiko project and stitching with me. I just don't want them. There's nothing wrong with prepared meal. There's nothing wrong with delivery grocery system like Blue Apron. I haven't tried that before, but there's nothing wrong with any processed food or prepared food. But that's not everything. We don't want to do it like that's everything. And what was happening is that processed food is always the answer for that, for what they want to learn. So for the mac and cheese, we don't use real cheese for the mac and cheese recently, in my understanding. At least I don't. When I make it, it's either powder with milk and butter, or it's kind of prepackaged kind of sauce. I don't know. Neither of them might not be cheese. I don't know, but it looks like cheese and it tastes like cheese. So we make the mac and cheese out of it. But at the same time, we know that mac and cheese requires cheese at some point because it says cheese. And if there are opportunities, we would like to learn how to make mac and cheese with the real cheese. I don't know how many times I'm saying cheese this live streaming, but so there are differences, and we are very aware of that difference. What she is saying, what is happening right now is that one person say that using the real cheese is not the traditional way. The traditional way is to use the powders. Vice versa. Either way is fine. Like she may be saying that nobody used the powders. Everybody used the cheese. That is also a wrong statement. And that wrong statement is going to destroy the culture. It's not about which is better. It's not about what is more superior, what is more authentic. Those are not the matter. Those changes based on the perceptions. When you think that it's authentic already. So we cannot really discuss how people think what it is. What I find as wrong is that they are limiting the possibility or practice itself by providing the wrong information. And I have it again. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm very upset. That's why I need a demand. That's why I demand the response. I would like to understand that. I'm not gonna be emotional on the comment. That's not my style, although I probably can. Yeah, I won't. I try my best. Well, but at the same times, no matter how much I say these kind of things, you are not the group of people I need to deliver this message to. You have received it already. In fact, you may be able to send it out to somebody else, but you were just here, very nice to be here to listen to my shenanigan. I don't know if that was shenanigan or even whining. And you know me, that's why you're here. Unless you're very new. And if you're new, I want you to know me, what's going on. But I'm sorry. 9 o'clock is kind of late for me. Ah. So, my daughter kind of tried to crochet, and she had a hard time to start. So I also watched some YouTube channel and also Domestika course. It's difficult. I Some people may think that I am really crafty and I have a good finger skill to move things. I don't. Like I knew that. I knew that I don't, but I confirmed that I don't. My finger doesn't move the way they instruction. I can see what the instructor is doing and I understand in my brain, but my fingers don't move. So that's what many people suffer in my not suffer well suffer in my initial workshop or class, that they have to kind of get rid of the not to get rid of, I'm sorry, they have to detach from their ordinary muscle memory. They can reinstall that, but they have to once detach it and then learn something new and then come back. This is a safe place where you can formulate a good response and get feedback. It's important to address errors. It's the way of teaching. Yep. That's why that's a very good place. Instagram has become a good place for that too. It used to be. I used to have lots of trolls. I wonder where they went to. Like every month there was something going on. It was crazy, but I think many people were not happy, or we were not stable because of the COVID and everything was not really, probably we were bored. They were not busy. Now probably they're busy and they're not. I don't know if they're even in the Sashiko field. But I really don't receive that on the Instagram anymore. So Instagram has become quite a safe place to say what I want. But of course, I do know the risk, and I do not want to risk everything. So I filter what I write, and I have the Patreon as the place, like the safest place I can think of to say whatever I feel without any filters. So that's yeah, but this is also the good place. Nadia is right. Do you have a website to buy supply from? Yes. Just go to the live streaming description. Tap if you're watching with iPhone. Tap somewhere, and then you can probably jump to the description, explaining where and not where, when in it. Like there's a description, and then you can find the link. I have two websites right now. One is the upcyclestitches.com and one is sashikostory.com. Both of them are pretty easy to kind of type it into, and you should be able to find some tools or supplies that I use right now here. Yeah, the reason the Upcycle Stitches is the WordPress website. So I made it out of WordPress. WordPress. And it got hacked once, and it's recovered. We hired some professional to recover that, and we have now security surveillance. So it should be clean. It is really clean. At the same time, I realized the risk of having one website. So it is the process of integrating. If you find one product on one website and then not the other, let me know. I will try my best to expedite the process of listing those. Nadia, I go in and out of practicing Sashiko and I notice how fast one can lose unshin. Really? Maybe. But it will always come back though. Unshin is quite. You may lose the rhythm. Like if you don't do it for a while, come and go, come and in, you sometimes lose the rhythm. But probably unshin itself remains. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you got it, it's not that easy to completely lose it. How did Keiko's shows go? I have to. Yeah, I forgot about it. It went okay. Not okay. It went very good. I don't know how much she sold. I don't know about the business part of it, but quite many people show up for my mother, and she was smiling all the time, and she came back home without any sick or big accident, so it's all good. She is quite tired right now, so she just came back a few days ago, so she should be resting right now, and once everything is cleared, I will introduce some of the pieces that she displayed, yet she did not sell it. Everything she has a kind of pricing and like a price tag. So I hope that might be the time to offer the Sashiko pieces with actual pricing. Like I do have some Sashiko pieces and I do have that on website sometimes from time to time. But I kind of stop pricing it because I don't want to sell it, I guess. I think I am being the collector mode. I know that those jackets, those things are not gonna be so easily to get soon or later because I cannot do it. I will be able to do that one day probably, but I'm not gonna do it. It requires completely different skill set. So because I cannot do that, I feel that I like to collect them. It's not a good thing, but so this might be a very rare opportunity to have Keiko's item with the pricing on. So let's hope that I can do so sometimes this month or next month. This month is almost done, so almost done? No, it's 15th. Oh my brain is kind of so fast. Everything is so fast. We need a Sashiko show somewhere in the States. Yes. Yes. It doesn't have to be big one, and I am very happy to lend some of our pieces because I don't like keeping everything in my house. It's not healthy. It's not how Sashiko should be. So if you know any like a solid, responsible is probably the key, who can handle that with respect, I'm happy to consider that. We are planning one in 2028, so it's like 3 years from now. It requires a little bit of requirement. Can't open the upcycle stitches. So some people cannot open the upcycle stitches. That's so weird. If you cannot open the upcycle stitches, please try the SashikoStory.com. I just don't know why some people cannot open that website. Because I can. It's so weird. I'm checking right now. Website is okay. It's running. I can even show that it's running. If you are a nearby computer, if you could check that, that'd be great too. It could be a cat. I really don't understand. Some people can, and you know, if it's the website down, I can do something, but let me share what I mean by is my website down. There's a website to check that. And I can check that. So if you are good at those IT, please help me out too. I'm doing something wrong, but that's something I don't know. So let me just show it here. Window capture. So yeah, it says that it's up. So well, that's a mystery. So Nadia's one is working. Yeah, it's so weird. Well, that's why I have Sashiko Story. So most of the basic stuff, like most of the necessary stuff like thread, thimble, needle, everything is good to go on the Sashiko Story. I do not transfer the Sashiko class. So if you're waiting for Sashiko class, just give me a little bit more time. And it's DNS the key. And when I look at the DNS, some people say it's my end, and some people say it's the viewer's end. So I don't know exactly what's going on. So well, and I don't have time to I don't have time and funds to spend to go into that. As long as it's not risky, I probably don't have time to go on that. Website itself says that it's safe, no malware, no nothing. And that's the service. That's the subscription I purchased, and it should be good to go. So if you cannot open the upcycle stitches, please go to the sashikostory.com I'm sorry, sashikostory.com is the place to go. If you cannot open both of that, email me. I'll do something. Okay, it's a little early, but I gotta go. So I did not finish it today. Wait. No, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go. I have to finish this much. I don't like ending thread in between, so let me finish this much. Where was I? It's so difficult to do the website and stuff like that. I wish I were good at those things too. So if you could, anybody watching this, if you could try the upcyclestitches.com, if you can open that website or not. I'm experiencing some difficulty to open that. I'm sorry, some of my viewers, some of the friends are experiencing the error of not being able to open it. And I cannot replicate the same issue here with using, and it's not happening in Keiko's, and website itself is up. So I will see what I can do. Okay, so I'm done with the thread. So I will end today's live streaming. It's probably one or more another live streaming, and I will finish this one. I don't know what's next yet. So I will have to kind of balance what I can do and what I want to do. So let's see what I can do. But I think I can do the live streaming next week with no problems, without changing anything. And so that'd be great if you could come back here. And if you're watching this as the archive, please leave the comment for the questions that I can answer. I do not answer the technical questions over the live streaming because I don't want to stop stitching. It's not the purpose of me being a teacher on this live streaming. But other than that, it's a good place to ask the questions about, what actually the Sashiko artisans are feeling or thinking about it. Okay, I hope you have a good night if you're in the this side of the world. If you are the other side of the world, I hope you have a good day. All right, bye-bye.